Right, welcome back to a new video on this channel, and this occasion is the Roland JX-08 SEQUENCER. Everything on this guide is in chapters, so if you look at the description or the timeline, you can jump to a section or skip the ones you don't want. If you like all of this, please like and subscribe. This channel is only supported by viewers. If you want to buy me a coffee just to say thanks and help the channel keep going, you can. Go to the links at the description. You have PayPal, YouTube thanks, and Patreon. Right, so the first thing we need to discuss is how to navigate the patterns. If you don't know how to use the whole device, I already made a different video, recorded a different video with a full guide about everything else, but not the sequencer. This video is for the sequencer. If you want to see the deep dive, go to the links at the description, or you have it right there at the top in the cards. Selecting patterns is like selecting patches, but it's just a little bit different. You can store up to 128 patterns of 64 steps each. Now, the cool part is that each pattern can play or remembers a part for the part A and a completely different performance or sequence for the part number B. So you could play a single pattern, right? Maybe load the pattern number 1, and maybe this one is doing the bass line, and then this one is doing the keys, right? So two different sequences on one single patch. All right, so I'm going to stand on the patch number A and then 1-1, which is the first patch that you get on this device. And to start the sequence, you just need to hold start, and it will play, the default sequence when you buy this. All right, so I want to change the pattern. What you need to do, you need to go to start, press and hold, and this will tell you to take you to PA. So this is pattern, and then the bank, and then the number of the pattern. And it works just like selecting patches. If I go right here, you have the banks, and right here you have the sequences. So maybe I'm going to stand on the A, on the group A, but the number 2, and now I can maybe select the 21, and if I play it again, notice that we do have a different sequence. And do the same, we can just repeat doing the same thing. If we want to go to the B bank, and you only have A and B on this occasion with the patterns, maybe load the 21 for the B, which has nothing. So if I do play, nothing is going to happen. So yeah, this is how you load the patterns. You have all the way to B, and then B5 right here, maybe B5, then 6, then 7, and then 8. I'm going to load the A1. Let me just toggle and then go right here. If I play it, we have the first sequence. We all know this one. Now, if I play it back, remember that you have the part A and the part B. So the A is doing A11, but if I go to the B, it's doing A64. This is what, we have on the A or we have on the B. So when I change the pattern is going to store whatever is that you have on the A and whatever is that you have on the B. So right here we have 11 on the first pattern, right? In the first sequence, we have 11 and 64. If I go to the second pattern, we will load different A and B presets. Now it's doing B42 and the part B is doing 45. So when you store a sequence, it's going to remember the number of the preset that you're using on your different parts. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go back to the A, and I'm going to go back to the A1. If I play it again, we know it. So the sequence is just data. The patch is whatever we want to load. In this case, on the A, we are doing 11, but I can get out of the sequence, right? Still playing. I can go to a bank and select a different patch. And now it's going to be using that preset on the group A. And if I want to change this one, well, it's the same thing. Maybe on this one, I'm going to be using the 7. And just like that, by using the same sequence, we can, this one is a little bit annoying, just by using the same sequence, we can select different parts and reuse the sequence. Now, a couple things that you should know when you're just playing whatever is that sequence that you have. If you hold the start, if you press and hold, you access to the panel where you can change the patterns, but also you have the mutes. Notice that the parts are on. And it means that you're playing both parts inside this sequence. So if I mute the A, we just get the number B. And if I mute both, we just get nothing. So just by holding the start, you just can mute the different parts. So maybe you want to remove them or just audition the sequence. Now, another cool thing, and I'm going to be playing it because you can do this while you're playing back a sequence. When you, again, press hold and start, you can navigate all of this. But if you move the encoder, and I'm going to do it with my right hand, let me just put in position, you can, go to a different sequence using the encoder. And this is a little bit difficult for me. I'm in a weird spot. Alright, so I go to the 14th. I just go to different sequences or load different sequences, just like this. Alright, how does this again? It's just a little bit hard because I need to press and hold. What you can do is just press and hold and then tap the menu. It's going to start blinking. So this will latch you in this start mode, holding the start. So now, I have my hands are free, so I can maybe just go to different sequence without, using both hands. Alright, and I can even, mute the part right here. If you want to get out of this, you just need to do menu and it will go back to the normal mode. Now, when you are playing sequence, or maybe not playing a sequence, this button is for the sequence configuration, let's say. So when I go there and you're standing in the sequence mode, it will, show you all the, whatever it's doing for that sequence. So right here, you can change the tempo if you wanted to. Maybe if you wanted to go fast, you can change it from here and it will apply it. Or you can go slower, of course. I'm going to go back to 120. Right, so let's talk about creating sequences. You have two main ways to create them, entering note by note or real-time recording. Now, I'm going to do the note by note, which is called step input first, and make sure that you learn both ways. Note by note input is also how you edit sequences. So by learning the note by note, you just, learn two things. The input, creating a sequence, and then editing a sequence. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go to hold start, and I want to load a bank or a patch or a pattern that has nothing. And it's going to be the B1. Well, I'm going to do B11. Why not? And if I play back, well, you get nothing back, and it means that you have an empty sequence. We're going to talk about how to clear sequences in a couple minutes. Now, remember that when you create a sequence for part A, and then you can create a different one for part B. I'm going to stand on the part A. So if I stop this and I play something, this is what we have on the part A, which is pretty much a default patch, right? If I go back here, I'm going to go back to the A. So, how can we record a sequence note by note? You need to make sure that you stand on your part and then you press the SEQ, the sequence, and this will let you enter to the sequence mode. And now you have 16 steps, and this is why you have one right here at the bottom, and then you have 16. So if I want to enter a note right here on the step number 1, I'm just going to press and hold. It's going to say step number 1, and it just needs to press a note, and I'm going to release it. And if I play it, we get it. That's how it works. Of course, we can do chords, right? So we have a chord. If I go here and just play a chord and release it, it's going to record it. And just, by doing it start with having the sequence playing, I can just go and just add different things. Maybe right here, going to be doing just a different chord. And that's it. This is how you record, sequences by doing a note input or step recording. It is like step recording. So pressing the button where you have data is going to clear that the step. So if I go here and just tap it, we don't get it. But if I press it again, we don't get it back, which is something that maybe you get on different sequencers. In this case, for this sequencer, once you tap them out, you cannot get them back in. You do have an undo and redo feature. We're going to talk about that in a minute. All right, so also when you are in this mode, which is the note input, I'm going to be entering a couple notes. I'm going to do one single note on step 1. I'm going to go to step, 4, in this case is 5, and I'm going to be creating a chord. So we have, a note, single note, and then a chord. So what we can do, we can of course edit whatever is that we have. So I need to go to the step I want to edit. In this case, I'm going to be going to this one. And maybe I'm going to go to the chord because we have more notes, just going to be a little bit more obvious. If I press and hold, it's going to tell you right there that you're standing on the step number 5. If I release it, it goes away. But in this case, I'm just going to stand right here. Now, if you go to the note and press the yellow is on, and notice that now it changes a little bit. Right here, you're standing on the keyboard type of layout for the buttons. And right here, you have your octave control. If I toggle this, it's telling me that on the step number 5, I've recorded this key, which is going to be a C, a D, and then I guess it's the D sharp, then a G. So right here, you can see, whatever it is that you entered, and you can edit it if you want. I want to remove this and just do 1-5, right? So this is how you edit notes. If I wanted to add more notes right here, you can. And to get out, you go back to menu, and maybe I'm going to be going to note, and I'm going to go right here. I'm going to stand on step number 1, and I'm going to do something crazy. Step 1, then note, and we can see that this is a note. Let me just find it. Is a C. So I'm going to be doing a C and something like that. It doesn't matter. But we can hear that we are playing many notes. Or you just can simply, go here and navigate the different steps while you're in this mode. In this case, I'm going to need to go here. I'm going to delete everything I did and just leave a single note for step 1 and step 5. And you can even go to different steps and just, add them manually. Just like that. Just pretty simple. So this is the note edit type of, function that you get. Now, if you do note, you're going to go back to your sequence. And if you want to kaboom them, you want to erase them, you just, toggle them off. Now, when you're creating a sequence, you always need to remember that when you maybe hold the note, you can change between part A and part B. So you can create 2 different sequences. I'm going to stand maybe on the A, right? And on this one, I'm going to be doing maybe a note. I'm going to hold and just press it. I'm just going to be doing a single note. It doesn't matter. It's just to show you how this works. So we have something like that. Now I want to go maybe to the part B. And I'm going to get out of the sequence mode because maybe I just want to select a different preset for this one. I'm going to be holding it and I'm going to be loading that one. So now I'm standing on the part B. So if I play it, it sounds a little bit different. Maybe I'm going to be selecting a different one. So maybe a plucky one. Right? So that's what we have on this patch. So I'm going to be going back to the sequence and I'm going to be standing on the part B. And now we can create a sequence right here. I'm going to go here and just, there we go. So now you have a sequence for the part A or part B, which is the plucky sound, and then the type bassy type of sound on the part A. And it's a really, really cool experience. The sequencer, I mean. Alright, so I'm standing on a clear patch. I have nothing on my sequence if I do start. And if you want to see it going, that I have absolutely nothing. Alright, so you can, of course, do real-time recording. The only challenge is that you don't have a metronome, right? So you just don't. But that's fine, While you're standing on the sequence, this mode, it's on. What you will need to do is hold the note and press start. And notice it says rec. So now it's recording. Whatever I do is going to record it. There you go. This is how you do real-time recording. You just press rec and it goes. Alright. If you stop the playback and play back again, you're out of the, note recording. So if I keep playing notes, notice that it's just not recording. Also, you can press menu and it's just going to go away. Now, since you don't have, I'm going to delete them all. You just don't have a metronome. Maybe you can go to a part that maybe you're not really using and just, maybe create the steps. Just add something so you know on which tempo you are. Let me just get out of this mode. I'm going to be loading for the part B, a different patch. Right? I know that my fake metronome is going on the A. I'm going to load something else on the B. So I guess on this one, I'm going to be loading the 7, the same plucky sound that we used previously. All right, I'm going to be going back to sequence mode, and I know that I'm standing on the B. So now I can just, record something. And again, we just need to do this, and it will enter real-time recording. We are recording for the part B. And there you go. You just use your other part as a metronome. This is one solution. All right. Now, everything we did in the previous section with the editing notes and inputting notes manually will work right here. You can go into that mode and edit whatever sequence that you did. Now, this unit can also do motion recording, right? So you can move the faders and it will record that motion into the sequence. Now, I'm standing on the part number B, and I'm going to be doing playback, and I'm going to be doing holding the yellow and do this so I can enter in rec mode. So whenever you're doing your recording, you can maybe automate this and it's going to record it. Right? And this is, at this point in humanity, motion recording for this type of devices is just, pretty normal. And I guess you know how it works. There you go. Cool. Now I'm going to delete this sequence. I'm going to delete all. If I record something again, and I'm recording, I'm going to record notes again. Notice that it's not really deleting the motion, right? So we just delete the steps. The steps, they contain the note information, but not the motion. Now there's a way to delete the motion. I will show you in a couple minutes when we get into the menu. And yeah, we have a million options. But right now, the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be getting out and I'm going to go out of the sequence and go back. And since we didn't save it, we have nothing. So in order to keep a sequence, you need to save it. And it works the same as saving patches. You just need to go to whatever patch or section or group you want to record. And then you press and hold. And it's just going to blink and it's going to save your pattern right there. Now, let me just record something. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be doing... Now, what you can do, you can hold it, and you're standing on step number 5. And this one, since we are not recording, you can adjust the different values for that step. So on this one, let's say it's going to be all the way up, and on this one, I'm going to go here and just all the way back. And notice that we are recording. On this one, it goes up, keeps up, and then right here goes down. So you can record the sequence on a step-by-step type of deal. Right? There you go. And this one is going to go back. Right. So you do have a lot more control when you record the motion for the different controls. Alright, so just like any other sequencer, you have velocity, gate, and tie. If I play it back, I'm standing on just an empty sequence. Now I'm going to create a tiny little sequence. I'm going to do start. I'm just going to add a couple of notes. So we can, see where we are. Just a couple notes. That's it. That's my sequence. So, okay. So even if we are not playing, we know that we can stand on there, press and hold, and it's going to tell me on which step we are. And if I release it, it goes away. But we know then when we go here, we can go to notes, press it, and we can see the notes and edit that step. All right, so we know this. We already talked about this. Now, the cool thing is that this is a mode. When you press and hold and you release it, it's going to go away. But if you press and hold and then you push, the encoder is going to latch you into that mode. And this mode, you can toggle the different steps, just like this. And if I wanted to record, more notes, maybe I can go to this one and do something like that, and it's going to record that note for me. And if I go here and I just keep moving on, we do more like it's a more step recording type of deal. And if I play it back, we get it. Now, this is not what I want to show you, but that you can do it this way. You can scroll and go to whatever step is that you want. So when you're standing on this mode, you have more options. The first one is going to be the step, right? The step number. But when you're standing on that step, if you push again, it's going to tell you the velocity of that step, and it's going to tell you the gate for that step. So you can maybe stand on the step number 1, and I'm going to go all the way down. Now my step 1, it's 8. And if I go to this step, I can change them. I can change the gate for those steps. Maybe this one is going to be much larger. This one is going to be shorter, and so on and so on and so on. You just edit your gates just like this. And again, if you keep tapping, it's going to, loop back to the first option, which is the number of the step. And the next one is going to be the velocity. If I wanted to go here and change the velocity for this one, or maybe go up in velocity, we can, right? This is how you edit the gate and the velocity. And if I play it back, right, we get it. Cool. Now I'm going to delete all of them. Just going to do this and just delete everything. Now I'm going to get out of this mode, just go out like that. I'm going to delete this sequence. We're going to talk about in how to delete sequences just by pushing a button. So if I play it back, we have absolutely nothing. And what I want to do, I want to enter a note, and I'm going to be entering the same note. This one right here is the same note, and on the step number 3 is going to be the same note. And I'm going to make sure that we have a gate as a VZA. Right, so we can have something like that, something that we know that we have 3 different notes. Now, I want to show you how the tie works. When you are pressing and holding right here, and I go and tap it, and we latch that mode, made a mistake, when I tap it again and tap it again, I go to the gate. Going all the way up on that gate is going to create a tie. So now this note is tied to this one, so you will get one single note. If I play it, is that now this note is longer, 2 steps, and this, shorter. So if I go right here to this one, and I go all the way up, now this one is a tie, this one is a tie, so we will have a single note. That's how gate works. Now, I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to make them super short, so we can really hear the difference. Right? This one is not, we are removing the tie. So we have, 1, 2, 3. Now, there's a different way that you get to record ties. If you take a look right here, it says page, and then it says tie. I'm going to be doing playback. We don't need to, but when you press and hold, we are standing on that step, and I'm going to be pressing the page tie. If you're in this mode, it knows that you want to do a tie. So when I press it, it's going to jump to step number 2, even though I'm holding the number 1. This means that now this is a tie. And now we can hear it. One note, and then another note. If I do the same trick, and I just, keep doing the same, it's going to take me to the 3. And now we have, a tie for 1 and 2, and we have a single note. Right, so that's how the tie works. Now I'm going to remove this, and show you something cool. We have nothing, right? So I'm going to enter one single note. I'm standing on step number 1, and if I enter one single note, by doing the tie, it will extend that note for you, right? So I'm going to be playing something super long. If I do the same thing right here, I'm going to be recording that note, and I'm going to extend it. I'm going to go over there, and I'm just going to play a different key and extend it. Right, so actually, it's pretty easy. Of course, I've used a lot of sequencers, and sometimes doing the tie, it's a pain in the butt. Right here, it's a very simple implementation. So far, it's kind of the best implementation of creating a tie with a sequencer. All right, so I have an empty sequence, and this one, the sequence is on. Now, to change the length of the pattern, you need to go into the menu. And the menu is a pretty wild, long topic. Most of the options are super simple. I'm, of course, going to show you the options. But when you're standing in this mode, by tapping the menu, it will take you, again, standing on this mode, it will show you all the different options. And you have shuffle, you have scale, you have length, you have a lot of options right here. We're going to discuss this in a minute. Right now, if I go here, it's going to be the length. So when you stand right there, you just push and enter, and it's telling you that you have a 16-step sequence. What if I wanted to, do more? Well, you go less or you can go more, up to 64 steps. Now, I'm going to be showing you something else. I'm going to stay on 16. And on some sequencers, when you gonna go out of this, on some sequencers, when you create a sequence and you extend it, sometimes it's going to duplicate the whatever you have on the steps. In this case, it doesn't happen that way. I'm gonna play it back and do the recording and just enter whatever. That doesn't matter. So now I'm going to be going out if I wanted to, but you can go to the menu because you're standing in this mode. And now I'm going to go to that length. I'm going to go all the way up to 64. And we noticed that we have some silence. And it's because we only recorded on this first 16 and we don't have it on the rest of the sequence. Now, if I go out of the menu mode, and go out and again stay on the sequence while we are playing, we can see that the first 16, this is our first page, it's playing something, but then it goes out and we don't know. How can we know? Well, right here when you press the page in the tie, it will tell you on which page you are and how many pages you have. 4 means that you have 16, right? So now it's going to page 3, now it's going to page 4, and then going back to the number 1. So this is how you navigate the different pages. And this, of course, when you go to a page, you will stand right there so you can do some editing. Now, you can, of course, I'm going to do yellow and then start the live recording, and then go to the different pages, but nothing's going to happen. You just need to do live recording. If you don't want to do live recording, of course, you can navigate to the pages, and while you're standing here, just press something, and it will, record it while you're, of course, playing back. Just maybe go to here. And the keyboard that I'm using, it's pretty far away from me right now. Sorry for that. And I'm playing whatever keys like a crazy cat. But, it's enough so I can show you how this works. So now we have things on all the different pages. We are going to 4, we go back to 1, we go back to 2, and then 3, and so on and so on. But what I want to do, I want to show you a different thing. I'm going to get out of here and go back right to the 11, and I know that I have absolutely nothing. Now, I know that when I go out and go back in, it's just resetting the sequencer. So if I go back and go to the length, that is that we are back to 16, right? So make sure that you save the sequence if you want to keep it. I'm going to be doing start, but now I'm going to be recording some notes. It doesn't matter, right? This is just to show you. I have something going on this 16. If I extend it to 64, well, I'm gonna need to manually do it. So we have a way to take this and copy paste it into the next page. If we go to the menu, when this one is on, when the sequence is on, you can go to, and it's the 6, there you go, the 6, it's the pull, which is duplicate. Now when you're standing here, you just need to push to confirm, and it will just do it for you. If I go back right here, notice that now we have 2 pages, and it goes through both pages. So if I go to duplicate again, and I tap it again, it's going to take those 2 pages and make it 64. If I go over here, now we have 64, and notice that there are no silences. So you can create a 16 and then extend it, or a 32 and then extend it to 64. What I want to do, I just want to record something simple and something like that. Let me just... Right, so I'm going to play it back. We have something like that. Now, when you go to the menu and this one again is on, you have more options, right? So you can do a bunch more things. I'm going to go to the number 4 right here, and this one is the direction. If I go here, it says forwards. Makes sense. The sequence starts here and then move forwards. But you have a lot more options. If I go to the next one, it's going to be reverse. So it goes backwards. And then if I move forward, it's FR, which is forwards and reverse. It's going to start right here and then just go back. And then you have some very interesting, let me just get it. There we go, inv. So you have some interesting sequences. What this will do, it will play the odd and then the even. So first it's going to play the second, then the 1, then the 4, then the 3, and so on, and so on, and so on. So it's going back and forward, playing the odd and evens. Right, so it's pretty cool. Now then you have more, you have the random, and as you could guess, it's going to be random. And then you have the key trigger. Now when I go to key trigger, the sequence will not go. And I'm going to get out of this menu. Notice that nothing happens on the sequence. But this one only starts when I play a key, and I'm holding that key. And I'm doing that right now. I'm playing a key and holding it. If I release it, we can hear that a note is being playing, and when that happens, the sequence starts. I'm gonna go to the next note in. There we go. I'm gonna play in 3, a different note in 3, 2, 1. Alright. So that's it. When I release the keys, it's not playing anymore. It will only play when you press a key. That's the key trigger. If I go to the number 4, you don't have more. I'm gonna go back and set it back to forwards. And we are just in normal mode. Now you have a lot more options, a lot more. Let's go to the next section and talk about the clearing, copying, and pasting, and the other options that you have right here. Alright, so let's talk about copy pasting. I have a dumb sequence going on right now, 16 steps. When you're standing on the sequence mode, again, you go to menu and you have a lot of options. So you have the copy and then you have the paste. So what I want to do, I want to copy, and this is for the whole sequence. You're copying the pattern. So if you want to copy, you press it, it's going to blink, and that means that you copy that sequence, and now it's in memory. Now I'm going to go to start, and I'm going to save the sequence to the B11 and the 1. Press and hold, it's going to save the sequence. Now remember that we copied that sequence. So now if I move on to maybe the pattern number 2, we know that that one is empty. So I can still go to the menu, and since we copy that sequence, I can paste it and then push to confirm. And now it's just pasting it on the pattern number 2. Actually, it's number 12. If I go back to the 11, nothing changes because it's the same pattern. So that's how we copy and then how we paste. Now let's say that I don't like this sequence on this pattern and I want to clear it. It's the same motion. When you go to menu, the next option is going to be clear, but notice that after the paste you have C clear, you have N clear, and then you have A clear. It's a little bit confusing, yes. So when you go to C clear, the C is going to be the motion. It's going to clear the motion. And then N is going to delete the notes. And then A is going to be all. It's going to delete or clear the motion and the notes. And the only thing, this depends on what you want to do. If you want to just maybe dispose the motion recording, then you just tap it and it's going to clear it. If I play it back, notice that the notes are still in place. If I go to menu again and go here and tap it, it's going to delete the notes. Or, you can go to A and clear all, and the sequence, it's gone. Alright, so I'm going to be going back to the pattern number 11. If I play it back, we have nothing. And if I play a key, this is how it sounds. I want something a little bit more, I wouldn't say staccato, but yeah, it's just staccato. If I play it back, we have nothing. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add the same note to every single step. And I know that maybe makes no sense to you, but it's because I want to show you something. If I play it back, it's going to sound like that. Maybe we can adjust the cut of frequencies. Now it sounds a little bit better. Alright, so you have, when this is on, you go to the menu, the first options are going to be for, the shuffle, and then you have the scale. The scale, it's not a scale that, chromatic or minor, it's not a scale, it's the scale length. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. First, I'm going to go to shuffle, and when I enter here, it's the same thing that we used with the arpeggio on the deep dive I created. So if I go up, we get that, the shuffle. And you can go into negatives if you must. Now, if I go right here to 0, I'm going to be going to the next option, which is going to be the scale. And again, it's the scale length. So we go back. You can do 8s. It's going to change the scale length. 16s, 30 seconds, and then you get the triplets ones. All right. Okay, so we have the dumb sequence that we created. I'm going to go back to the menu. And the number 7 is going to be rend. Of course, this is random. Now, when you push it, it's going to dispose whatever it is that you did, and it's going to create a random sequence. So if that's your thing, you can create it. Alright, but the thing is that maybe I don't like it. and I want to go back. Well, you have the undo and you have the redo. So if I go to undo and just push it, I'm back to the previous sequence. Now this is going to take you back to the previous action that you did, right? It's going to go back. This is not a DAW. You cannot go redo, and just go back 5 or 7 actions down. You just can only undo and redo one time. Now if I can go to menu and I want to redo it, well, in this case, I'm going to redo and I get back. And again, if you don't like it, you can just generate a new random. I'll have new random. And if I don't like it, I do undo. And I'm back to the previous one. Notice that you're not going back to the original one. And this one is actually kind of cool. But yeah, always need to remember that if you made a mistake and you don't want to keep it, before you can move or do anything else, go to the menu and do undo. All right, so we are done. If you ask me, the sequencer, it's pretty good, right? So when you buy the unit, you buy it for everything else. And the sequencer is just a bonus. It's just an additional thing that you get. And this is super useful, right? So if you ask me, if I compare it with an XD, for example, a mini log, well, this is just massive in comparison. It's a very, very good sequencer for what you get and for what you pay. Of course, you can just use an external sequencer and have a lot more things, but since this comes included with the synthesizer, I think it's a pretty good deal. All right, so if you liked all of this and you learned something new, please like and subscribe. This channel is supported by viewers, not brands really. So if you want to buy me a coffee and help the channel keep going on, you can. You have the links at the description for PayPal, YouTube Thanks, and Patreon.